Political corruption wasn't a new phenomenon in Rome. It plagued both the Republic and the Empire. But what exactly did this corruption look like? Bribery, patronage, and misuse of public funds were rampant. Wealthy individuals and senators often bought their way into power, securing positions through bribes and favors rather than merit. This misuse of funds wasn't just unethical, it had dire economic consequences. As state resources were siphoned off for personal gain, Rome faced financial instability. Heavy taxation and inflation followed, placing immense pressure on the populace. One notable example of corruption was during the late Republic, when Sulla's proscriptions targeted political enemies. Sulla, after seizing power, published lists of individuals deemed enemies of the state. These people were executed, and their properties were confiscated and redistributed to Sulla's supporters. This not only eliminated his opponents, but also rewarded his allies, solidifying his power through blatant misuse of authority. Corruption also infiltrated the military. Key positions were sold to the highest bidder, leading to a lack of discipline and effectiveness. The Praetorian Guard, meant to protect the emperor, became notorious for assassinations and auctioning off the throne. A striking case is that of Emperor Commodus, whose reign from 180 to 192 AD was marked by extreme corruption. Commodus indulged in extravagant spending and debauchery, neglecting his duties while his favorites enriched themselves. His behavior led to widespread discontent and his eventual assassination. During the reign of Emperor Nero from 54 to 68 AD, political corruption reached new heights. Nero is infamous for his lavish lifestyle, funded by heavy taxation and confiscation of wealth from the aristocracy. His rule saw the misuse of public funds for personal entertainment and the construction of the opulent Domus Aurea, Golden House, after the Great Fire of Rome, which many believed he had started himself to clear space for his palace. The effects of this widespread corruption were felt deeply by the regular Roman citizen. As state resources were diverted for personal gain, essential public services and infrastructure suffered. Roads, aqueducts, and public buildings fell into disrepair, impacting daily life and economic activities. The heavy taxation imposed to cover the shortfalls strained ordinary citizens, leading to widespread poverty and social unrest. Inflation eroded the value of currency, making everyday goods more expensive and placing additional burdens on the common people. Agriculture, the backbone of the Roman economy, also suffered. Corrupt officials often seized farmland from smallholders, giving it to wealthy elites or leaving it neglected. This disrupted agricultural production, leading to food shortages and increased prices. The rural population, deprived of their livelihoods, flocked to the cities, increasing the urban poor and straining resources. Trade, another crucial element of Rome's economy, was adversely affected by corruption. Public officials demanded bribes for the issuance of trade permits and the safe passage of goods. Corruption in the administration of ports and trade routes led to inefficiencies and higher costs for merchants. This discouraged trade, reduced market supply, and further exacerbated economic decline. The lack of military discipline and effectiveness also meant that border regions were more vulnerable to invasions and raids, causing instability and insecurity for those living in these areas. Furthermore, the erosion of public trust in the government led to a decline in civic engagement and morale, weakening the community's resilience in the face of crises. As corruption became endemic, public trust in the government eroded. Civic engagement waned, weakening the state's ability to respond to crises. This erosion of trust and efficiency played a critical role in the Western Roman Empire's collapse in 476 AD. Civil wars, economic troubles, and barbarian invasions further strained the already weakened state. Interestingly, while the Western Empire fell, the Eastern Roman Empire, known as the Byzantine Empire, survived for another 1,000 years. Several factors contributed to this resilience. First, the Byzantines implemented significant administrative reforms to reduce corruption and improve efficiency. Emperors like Justinian I established comprehensive legal codes, such as the Corpus Juris Civilis, which helped stabilize governance and reduce legal ambiguities. Second, the Byzantine Empire had a more defensible capital, Constantinople, which was protected by massive walls and a strategic location that controlled key trade routes. This allowed the empire to better withstand external threats and maintain economic stability. Third, the Byzantines developed a more professional and loyal military system. The thymata system, where soldiers were settled on land provided by the state in exchange for military service, ensured a more dedicated and locally loyal army compared to the often corrupt and mercenary forces of the West. Fourth, the Byzantines were adept at using diplomacy to manage their relations with surrounding powers, including strategic marriages, alliances, and tributes, which helped avoid some of the costly wars that drained the Western Empire. The fall of Rome is a stark reminder of how deeply entrenched corruption can erode the foundations of a society. From the misuse of public funds and bribery to the neglect of essential infrastructure and the agricultural backbone, corruption permeated all levels of Roman life. This systemic decay weakened the economy, undermined military effectiveness, and led to widespread social unrest. Ultimately, it contributed significantly to the empire's inability to withstand external pressures and internal strife, culminating in its collapse in 476 AD.